Many people in Michiana watch what's going on in Flint and wonder, is there lead in my water pipes? I've talked to area water departments and the answer is yes. It was common for municipal water lines installed in this country years ago to be made of lead, and many of them are still in use today. But keep in mind, Flint's problem was with untreated contaminated river water that leached the lead into their water supply. Around here, there is a different source of lead that is a larger concern: lead-based paint. I've reported on this subject for 20 years, and I've met a number of families who had to take immediate action due to high lead levels. I met the Hunt family 6 years ago after all 4 of their children were found to have elevated levels of lead in their blood. Since lead is especially dangerous to very young children, I was eager to see how their boys are doing now. In old homes, you'll find charm and character, but you can also find lead. It was a popular additive in household paint when the Hunt home was built in the 1920s. Lead wasn't banned from paint until 1978. Anthony and Carolyn made the discovery when they took their then 1-year-old son Silas to get his shots at the health department.
They asked if we lived in a house built before 1978, and I said yes, and they offered us free lead testing, and I'll take anything that's free. So I accepted, and we scheduled that.
It came back positive for lead poisoning, and over time they learned that all 4 of their boys were poisoned. The source? Lead paint on the window trim and peeling porch paint. One day, Anthony saw Silas put a paint chip in his mouth.
I quickly tried to get it. I don't know if I got all of it. I think he swallowed some. We took him in to get tested again, and it had nearly doubled.
We'll always be a little worried as to what might come in the future, but I feel very grateful that the health department helped us discover his lead poisoning and also find where it was coming from and advise us on how to care for him.
It's been 6 years since that interview. And today, the Hunt household is one busy, loud place with 4 growing boys. Zachariah is in high school. Killian, the computer whiz and musician, is 12. Silas, the bookworm, is now 10. And the baby of the family, Ren, is 7. He just lost his 7th tooth.
This one, this one, this one, and this one, this one, this one, and this one.
Ren was just a baby, but the other boys were older.
I didn't know what lead was.
But Killian was aware that something was wrong.
I would stand on something in front of my dresser and try to open them to see the outside world and feel the air.
That would get him in trouble. The friction of opening windows could cause lead dust.
It makes dust you can see, but it also makes lead dust you can't see. And that's the kind of thing that then your kids breathe in, or it gets on their toys, or it just gets everywhere.
So they worked hard to remove it. They enrolled in a federally funded lead hazard control program with the Elkhart County Health Department. The grant helped them get new windows.
We're going to need a few more multi-million-dollar grants to address all the lead in Elkhart County.
Carrie Brunson is the lead specialist for the Elkhart County Health Department.
The positive is Elkhart County has received $5.5 million to remediate homes with lead-based paint. We've remediated 320 homes. We did that in 6 years, so that was pretty awesome.
The Hunts limited their lead exposure and fed their kids nutritious meals. Foods rich in calcium and iron can help combat the effects of lead on the developing brain. So what about neurological delays? Well, thankfully, the Hunt boys are doing fine.
They do well in school, and there are times when they are a little high energy or a little distractible.
They're good students with normal frustrations.
And sometimes how teachers, when it's okay, does everybody have this? They ask just a few people, and it's they move on, but some people don't understand it, usually me. Yes, I'm not good at math.
Anthony says they'll never truly know the academic impact.
The more they were poisoned each time, did you lose a couple of IQ points? What does that mean? I mean, that's very vague and difficult to try to describe. What's important is it was caught. What's important is that, we learned how, and that we have spent then a number of years trying very hard to make sure that other people understand the risks.
Risks that remain, just like the old homes in Michiana.
When 3/4 of the stock of all the housing in Indiana is still homes that were built before 1978. It's still going to be there.
And remain a danger to families. Brunson says they're currently managing 8 cases of children with lead poisoning from just this past year. Elkhart County, along with other counties in our viewing area, offer free lead testing for young children. It's a simple finger prick. Check with your area health department to schedule an appointment. Again, it's free. You can also contact your health department if you have concerns about your water quality. Now, there are water filters that you can purchase for as little as $25 that can remove lead and other contaminants from your drinking water. And we have a link to more information on the filters at our website, WNDU.com. Just click on the big red bar. Lead poisoning can cause a number of health problems, but it's most dangerous for the developing brains of young children. Lead exposure can cause damage to the nervous system and kidneys, speech, language, and behavior problems. It can also cause poor muscle coordination and decreased muscle and bone growth. Also, hearing damage and learning disabilities, ADHD, and also decreased intelligence. 20 years ago, I did a special series of reports on lead poisoning and met a determined little girl and her mom. Guess what? After all these years, I found her and found out what life was like after living with lead. The year was 1996, and my series of reports was called Get the Lead Out. We highlighted the dangers of lead paint exposure and met children poisoned by lead. Children like 5-year-old Katie LaFleur, who showed me how to spell her name.
I knew that she was having some behavioral problems at home. She was like picking up toys and throwing them across the room. She was not learning as fast as other children were learning.
These behaviors alarmed her mom enough to have her daughter tested. They quickly learned Katie was poisoned by lead paint. They'd been living with it for years in the home they were renting.
She's a thumb sucker, so she touches it and then it gets into her system.
Not only that, Katie was actually sucking on the windowsill, increasing her lead exposure even more. Lead paint tastes sweet, and it was really comforting for Katie to put her mouth right on the painted surface. So, how is Katie doing today? I found her in Elkhart. Katie is 25 now and a mother of 3 boys.
They're 4, 5, and 7, and they're very hyper, just like Mommy.
Katie remembers when she was diagnosed.
I remember people being frustrated after the fact and they realized that something was wrong. I would get headaches and fevers, and I remember being really clingy to my mom because of it, and she was getting really frustrated, which made me even sadder, so I was crying all the time.
School was tough.
I didn't like it at all. I didn't want to go at all. Math was a big struggle just because it was memory, you know, memorizing all these numbers.
She struggled a lot throughout her entire life. I can remember her coming home from school in tears because she didn't get something that other kids were getting.
Kim made sure Katie got extra help and quickly educated herself on the dangers of lead. She wants people to know how to spot it in their own homes.
Know what to look for when you're looking for a place. Lead paint, when it peels, it's going to have an alligator-like texture to it.
It's not just in house paint. The Elkhart County Health Department has a collection bin full of surprising lead sources that slipped into the U.S. from foreign countries, like lip gloss, glaze on pottery, candies from Mexico, letter magnets on the refrigerator, computer parts, and toys.
The toys coming from other countries sometimes can have lead, especially metals.
You'll still find lead plumbing in Michiana municipal water lines and homes. That's not a problem, as long as the water is frequently tested and treated. Untreated river water caused lead to leach into the water supply in Flint, Michigan. Carrie Brunson is the lead specialist with the Elkhart County Health Department. She says lead stays in the body a very long time.
It takes the place of calcium and iron, so you store it in your bones and teeth. And the half-life is 25 years, so it's going to stay there a long time.
You can find inexpensive lead test swabs at home improvement stores. Brunson demonstrates how the tip turns red or pink when it comes into contact with lead.
See how it's turning red already?
When lead paint was blamed for Katie's poisoning, the family moved to a safe home. And now, as a mom, Katie is on the lookout for lead.
I'm so scared of any paint chips, whether it has lead in it or not, you know, because my kids are going to get exposed to that, and I don't want them to go through the struggles that I had to.
It's part of her caring personality. She wants to be a nurse.
I am in school now. I'm in college, so I'm overcoming it.
But even today, it's not easy. She can only take one class at a time.
My instructor is really awesome, and you know, she's just right there with me, and it's just worked out.
Katie is a real survivor. She fights for what she wants and she goes for it. Even though the struggle's a little bit harder, she goes for it. And I'm very proud of her.
I do have my what ifs. You know, what if I didn't get exposed to the lead, how my life would be and how would I learn and stuff.
Today, Katie concentrates on a future life without lead. Area health departments offer free lead testing for young children. It's a simple finger prick. Just call your county health department to schedule an appointment. You can also contact your health department if you are concerned about your water quality. Now, there are water filters that you can purchase for as little as $25 that can remove lead and other contaminants from your drinking water. And we have a link for more information on the filters at our website, WNDU.com. Just click on the big red bar.